Hey everyone, it's Dr. Jensen, and welcome to Professional Development and Workplace Readiness, the longest course title ever. So this is CCJ4934 or SYA4930. It is for both criminology and sociology majors, and it's essentially a career preparation class. So this again is a good class to take as you're approaching your senior year and getting ready to finish your degree. And it's a class where you actually get credit to work on your resume. So pretty cool stuff. The reason I have this super wordy title is I want to emphasize that this class works for everyone, no matter what stage or development cycle they're in on their career, right? So we have students that have had 10 to 20 to 30-year careers, and some longer, right? That they are finishing their bachelor's degree. They never had the opportunity to finish that degree, and they're looking to do bigger and better things after they're finished. They want to change careers. They're maybe in a second career. So they're more of in a professional development part of their life, while other students have never had a full-time job in their life, and they're entering the workforce for the first time. And we have lots of students in between that have maybe worked for a few years, or worked for a few years part-time, or have done freelance work, or maybe have worked at a place for 10 years and they're trying to upgrade, or they want to head off to law school, or they're heading to grad school. There's just so many different paths that all of us are on. So I include workplace readiness too, whatever that means for where you're at in your path. So this class was taught many, many years ago, and then we didn't offer it for a long time. So it's good that it's being offered again, because I'll be honest, when you think about a class that's really consequential to you finishing your degree, it's this one. What's more important, an exam you take in a class or your resume? What's more important, getting more practice with interviews or writing a big paper? Writing a big paper and taking an exam is not going to get you a job. Having a good interview and a solid resume is going to get you a good job. So I tell people, take this class seriously, because this is life stuff. This is stuff you want to get right. This is the stuff that opens the door to opportunity. And it's cool that you get to use a class to do things like pick out some internships you want to apply for, or work on a promotion you're trying for at work, or write your law school statement, or get your elevator speech developed, right? So there's just so many pieces that can really personally benefit you well beyond UF. So treat it with that kind of importance and priority, and I think it'll serve you really well as you prepare to become a Gator alumni. So let's jump into the class so you can organize and prepare yourself better. So here's the splash page of the class. I tried to be very Gator colors. Yay, go Gators. And you'll start here with the Start Here link in Syllabus. Obviously, you've already found that. And then you have your modules. So at first glance, you've noticed there's only 8 modules in this class. What does that mean? Well, first, let's go to a calendar that's going to show you how this actually works. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. What I do each semester, and I highly recommend this for students, is I go get the academic calendar from the registrar. So you can literally Google University of Florida academic year 2021-2022 calendar. And usually one of the first 1 or 2 hits is this little PDF chart. It shows you fall semester, spring semester, and summer semester for the upcoming academic year. And what's nice about it is, again, if we zoom in a little bit, you can kind of see it shows you, we'll look at fall. This is drop add. This is when a holiday is. This is homecoming. This is when grades are due. These are the final exam weeks. So it lets you kind of have a really quick way to prepare. What I do is I actually dump this in a Word document, and then I actually add little boxes that kind of show me this is week 1, this is week 2, this is week 3. You could do the same thing super low tech and just print this out and write 1, 2, 3, 4 with a pencil. So essentially, the first week of classes is week 1. The second week of classes is week 2. The third week is going to start right after Labor Day, week 3, and so on and so forth. So normally a semester is 16 weeks. We have 8 modules. So we're doing 2 weeks of class in one module. So Module 1 covers weeks 1 and 2. Module 2 covers weeks 3 and 4. Does that make sense? But I like to kind of write these numbers on my calendar, so I go, okay, let's see, it's September 13th, I should be finishing up Module 2 because we're going to start Module 3 next week. So it helps me kind of keep track of what I'm doing a little bit easier just because we have 8 modules instead of 16. To me, it made more sense to organize the class this way because you can kind of pace yourself a little bit with what you're working on. So that's just a suggestion of how to kind of keep your semester organized, is to think about 2 weeks being one module. So when you get ready to go back into the module, you're like, whoa, there's a lot of work in here. This is 2 weeks worth of work. Okay, so don't try to do it all within like a day or two. You're going to overwhelm yourself. So inside a module, we have Introduction to Sociology and Criminology Careers. This is Module 1. And you have some explanation as to what we're going to be doing in the module. Then we have objectives. And then underneath here, we have your readings and videos. Do not skip these. I write a lot of quiz questions out of your readings and videos, so make sure you finish those before you take your quiz. Now, right off the bat, you can see that it looks like you have to read 7 chapters in 2 weeks, and that looks a little bit daunting. But you got to realize these chapters are written in a self-help way. They're very short, and that they're very quick reads. You could do all 7 chapters in an afternoon, to be quite honest. So this reading is actually very digestible and easy to do. And then I have PDFs, and I even have some optional material if you want to dig deeper. But later on, you'll get into the lectures. So down below at the bottom of the page, you'll see lectures with little timestamps that show you how long they are. You can do them in parts. You can kind of do half here, half there. Underneath, you'll see PDF slides and PowerPoint slides for each of the lectures. I will tell you this on day 1. Do not be tempted to just read the slides and not watch the video, because I also write quiz questions based off things I say or stories I tell or examples I give inside the video lectures. And if you don't watch the video lectures, you will not get those questions correct on the quiz. So just make sure you take really good notes and that you're attentive to those videos. I tell students, when you don't watch your video lectures, it's kind of like ditching class. It's basically the equivalent of ditching class. And it's hard to be able to make sense of what we're doing and do well in the class when you're just not present, when you're not active in the class. So again, this is a consequential class. This is your career. This is your life. Do not blow it off because it has consequences later. At the very bottom of the module page, you'll find activities and assignments of things you need to complete. So you can click on each of these and they'll give you instructions on how to prepare them and due dates and so forth like that. Now, I always send you weekly reminders, so you kind of have your to-do list for the module and your due dates, and that way you can kind of keep track of the stuff you need to finish. Okay, so that's essentially a module. And again, this is 2 weeks worth of stuff, so just pace yourself, be patient. We're going to look at the syllabus now. So I'll close the academic calendar. By the way, if you want a copy of this, I can send it out to the class. If you're like, ooh, that's actually a really useful document, could you send us that? I'm more than happy to do that. I just didn't want to shove it in everybody's faces if they didn't want it. So anyway, let me know if that's something you would like. I'm going to zoom out of this. This is our syllabus. But before I jump right into the syllabus, I'm going to show you our textbooks. So I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit. That's my bio if you want to read a little bit about me and my background. These are the 3 textbooks. So I have the ISBN numbers, the editions, the years, so you can go get them, but I'll show you them in detail. So the first big textbook you need is Do What You Are. Okay, so this is kind of a career personality test book. It's a lot of fun, very easy to read, and this is where you start Module 1. Okay? So again, you can get these on Amazon or wherever you want to buy your books. That's totally fine, but order them quickly and get started. Inside this book, you're going to see the first 7 chapters are like that. They're not very much. Okay. This will also give you a personality profile, and you'll be taking a personality test. There's lots of instructions and page numbers on how to do that and get started. Realize that the thick middle part of this book is a detailed presentation on each of the personalities, the results that you can get. So you don't really have to read all the middle matter of this book, unless you maybe have a romantic partner or a friend or a family member take it and you want to read more about their personality. So the middle part of the book is not necessarily something you're going to use all the time or widely, But the end part of the book we will use quite a bit, because we're going to use this to start to point you toward careers that match your personality, your preferences, your attributes, and the things that are more natural for you. Now, this might seem very psychological. You're like, really, Jensen? Personality profiles? How is that sociology, criminology? It's not. But at the same time, we know that personality and identity is a huge part of what makes us tick and what shapes the world around us and what helps us navigate the world we're in. So this is kind of a getting to know myself, being honest with myself about what I enjoy and what I don't, and the ways I engage, the way I think. Now, like any other personality test, it has its flaws. It's not perfect, but this gets us a little bit closer at being able to identify some things that are going to be a little bit more useful to us as we look at jobs that don't fit and jobs that do. Because it's important to rule out jobs that would be a really bad idea. Because you don't want to discover you hate your job in the middle of it, because now you have a whole new set of problems that you have to face because we started in the wrong place. So this will be a really important book. We're actually going to share our personality results in the class, and it'll be a lot of fun. I will share with you my personality results as well, so you can see how I tick and how to get along with me and what makes me happy, okay? So this is just a lot of fun. So treat this not like a textbook, but more like a self-exploration. The other book you need is this teeny tiny book that if you sneezed, you might miss. It's called The Miniature Guide to Critical Thinking by Richard Paul and Linda Elder. It's been around forever. This is the 8th edition, the most recent edition. They've had many editions before. I have earlier editions of it. But it's basically a little reference guide into decision making. So it has lots of charts and diagrams and things that we're going to use later on in the semester. So this one can arrive a little bit later, but don't wait too long to order it because you don't want to be delayed in being able to complete the assignment. So I wanted to make sure we developed your skills. And one of the skills that liberal arts majors really need to develop are critical thinking skills. And this is something that you can be able to kind of put in your resume as, you know, I've been trained a little bit more in using critical thinking and arriving at good conclusions in my decision making. So this is a skill we're going to try to hone in on during the class. And this is something you can keep as part of your professional portfolio as like a desk reference in your job, because it helps you ask good questions when you're doing team decision making and research at your company. Like, hey, did we do this the right way? Did we consider all these factors? And you're going to be the smartest person in the room with this thing. It is super cool. So you're going to get that. Last book you're going to get is the only grant writing book you will ever need. This is also kind of more of a reference book, but we are going to do quite a few chapters in the book. They also have lots of examples of grants and letters and paperwork and stuff that you can use to kind of flesh out your portfolio. So another thing I was really wanting to leave you with was a new skill that you probably haven't learned in any of your other classes, and that's how to write grants. So we're going to push this skill as much as we can because grant writing brings in revenue and funding to your organization. And that is very marketable to an employer to say, hey, I can write grants, I can bring in funding. And we have to discover the world of grants. We do something like $900 million in grants at University of Florida every year. So grants are big business, and writing a competitive grant is important. And I thought, you know what? The kind of areas that sociology and criminology students go into are often areas that need funding, right? Or that serve populations that are eligible for grants or support or services, right? So this is going to be really important. We're going to tackle this at the very end of class in the last 2 modules of class. So this is that book. Those are the 3 books you need for class. I'd always like to hold them up to the video just so people can kind of see them, but I do have images of them as well on the syllabus. Let's bounce back up to the course description so you can get a better sense of what we're going to be doing. This course is designed to provide professional mentoring and critical thinking skills to students as they approach employment, advancement, promotion, and/or graduate study. Students will improve their abilities to describe their accomplishments, increase their professional networking, provide polished responses in interviews and meetings, develop proposals for projects, and identify strengths through personal assessment, learn how to gain cultural competency, better understand fundraising and finance, provide community assessments to extend their outreach and impact with potential employers and organizational partnerships. This course also teaches leadership skills, how to manage organizational change, grant proposal writing skills, and introduces evaluation research, establishes workplace integration for major industries in social science like teaching, social research, public sector or government jobs, data analysis, human resources, nonprofits, and criminal justice. Those are the really big industries that we see for sociology, criminology. We're going to go through these industries in Module 1. All right, so moving forward, these are our course and learning objectives. So again, this is what we're going to hope to accomplish by the end of the class, so that's for you to review. Here's the course pacing and modules. So again, each module represents 2 weeks of coursework, right? So don't get overwhelmed. So this gives you kind of like a pace, like by, September 25th, we should be done with Module 1, and when we start Labor Day week, that's when Module 2 kicks off. So you can use this to kind of plan and prepare. We're going to be doing 8 non-cumulative quizzes as a way to kind of cover our work in each module. Each quiz covers material from the module. We kind of talked about that. I do use HonorLock to cover the fairness and anti-cheating mechanism of the quiz. Plan for about 35 minutes of testing. It is actually open book, open note, so you can use your materials from class. However, it's a timed assessment, so you won't have time to look up everything, so that's why you need to take good notes. You need to review all the material in advance, so you can use your extra time to maybe reference a few that you're uncertain about. But yeah, it's open note, and I try to make sure my settings allow for you to use multiple tabs. If you want to pull up your PowerPoints in Canvas, or videos or slides and things, you should be able to do that. Sometimes I have to finagle the settings a little bit to allow for that, but that is okay to do. So there's some paragraphs that talk about HonorLock exam proctoring. You do need to have the HonorLock extension installed on Google Chrome, and you can kind of practice and prepare your settings for the quiz, and there's some websites that can help you do that to make sure your browser is up to date and you're not going to get any weird things or be flagged for doing something that's allowable, but it looks funny to the software, and so it's like, cheater! You don't have to do that. But read through this so you can prepare yourself on what you need to do before you start your quiz. And there are practice sessions, so you can open up all your tabs, your browser, your notes, so that way you have your setup and your strategy for your quiz, and you don't get any surprises during the quiz process, because nobody likes that. It's stressful. Discussion boards. We also do a lot of discussion boards in this class, which is kind of a change for me. I'm an asynchronous teacher, so I don't do a lot of all of us together at one time, kumbaya type stuff on Zoom. However, because this class is so dynamic and it's so personal, I wanted to connect you guys to each other a lot better, especially for networking purposes. You will find whole groups of people that are all interested in the same industry that could really help each other. You will find whole groups of people that are all getting ready for the LSAT at the same time. You will find whole groups of people that are mining internships. You will find groups of people that are careerists or second career people, or students who are non-traditional or older that are trying for that promotion or to launch into that new industry. So it's important for you guys to connect to each other, and discussion boards is kind of a ways and means of doing that. So I encourage more contact, communication, collaboration. You will discover each other through these boards as you share and disclose your journey in professional development. So this kind of gets us going with introducing ourselves, talking about our personality profiles, talking about careers we're interested in, careers we're really not interested in, planning our careers, looking at how social media works in our networking. So this is very purposeful type stuff. These are structured discussion boards that ask you questions, and so you have very organized responses. So use this as an opportunity to connect to fellow students that are sharing that journey with you. Short writing assignments and papers. So this is the bulk of the grade for the class. So you're going to do a self-assessment. You're going to update your resume and cover letter in this class. We're going to practice our interviewing skills. We're going to do some case studies in organizational change. You're going to do a community needs assessment, a career plan. We'll do critical thinking. We'll do a fundraising assignment, and we'll do a grant proposal assignment. That's the biggie, is that at the end, because that's the big skill we're learning in class. I always have a disclaimer. Things change as the semester goes by. I always tinker with my classes. If I make drastic changes, I will not penalize my students. I try to announce them as in advance as I can. I make extensions. I'm reasonable with, hey, if you're trying to make a change, or if I change the point value, I should allow for some extra credit so that way people don't feel sabotaged. I'm a very friendly, fair professor. I don't play gotcha with students. That's not my personality, which you will learn pretty soon. So yeah, that's essentially some of what we'll do in class. Here's our grading. Again, these are kind of portions of the final grade. So most of the grades, the assignments and activities, as it should be in a careers class. Grading scale, it's great to be a Florida Gator. Some of you are getting ready to graduate, and I'm excited for you to be in this class and getting ready to have some of these items ready for the job market. So early congratulations to our graduating seniors that are finishing up in December. Yay! Course policies with my really cool Gator keyboard. Not really mine. Super cool image though, right? This kind of shows you, here's the list of the textbooks you need for class and the ISBN numbers, making sure you're communicating properly, using good security. I'm not going to go through this in a lot of detail. Obviously, we're an online class, so I'm not taking attendance. We're largely asynchronous. These are campus resources for You Matter, We Care, Counseling Wellness, Tutoring Testing Center, Teaching, Writing Studio, you know, kind of this stuff. So I'll let you look at that as you need to. But also, if you need academic accommodations, please reach out to me early. There are links and phone numbers here if you need to get those in place, so that way I can provide those accommodations to you. These are your kind of technology supports, my makeup policy. You do need to have a university recognized reason. And let's be honest, we're still in a COVID pandemic. So there will be things out of our control that we need to be mindful of and flexible about. So we do need to have documentation for stuff. So just make sure you keep your documentation on times that you have to miss class or you need extensions. And I'll do the best I can to accommodate you, but I have to work within these boundaries set by the university. Cite. If you're going to use someone else's ideas, cite them. Make sure you're using proper citation. Of course, you'll do some course evaluation at the end of the semester as usual. And this is the COVID-19 policy that largely talks about video classes and sharing video and images and stuff. And learning outcomes. Zoom expectations. Make sure you have good Zoom etiquette, that you're wearing clothes before you turn your camera on, using appropriate virtual backgrounds, and so forth. Just a quick snapshot of our course schedule here at the end. If you want it in a document format, it's all here for you. So I'm someone that likes to see my whole semester and all the due dates at once so I can plan and cross things off as I go. But not every personality is that way, and you have to work within what works for you and how you organize. So again, I'm looking forward to this semester. Please be patient as I change things, but we're going to have a really great experience together. This is a fun class. Most people do quite well in the class. If you check out and you're just absent, you're not turning stuff in, then you're not going to do very well. Yes, it's possible to flunk this class. You just don't show up. You don't do anything. So put in a good effort, and an effort that's really an investment in you and your future. So I look forward to speaking to you guys on the phone and exploring our personalities, our skills, and some of the things that we're interested in. Don't forget to call. Really looking forward to hearing from you. You can text me, and we'll see you later on in week 1. So reach out if you have questions, and welcome to class.